Welcome to drivenmavens.com. My name is Arvin, and we're going to cover dynamic sketching in 3/4 view. So let's go. Alright, I actually got a new toy. I'm pretty excited about it. I had to tell you about this, man, because this is really cool stuff. I finally invested in getting a somewhat of a tablet PC. It's not a Cintiq, but it's almost just as good and at a fraction of the price. So what this allows me to do is allows me to create a lot of the sketches on my computer in about 5 to 10 minutes, which is great for me and even better for you. So here we go. What we're going to do here is I'm just going to lay out some quick lines. Unfortunately, you can't see my hands on this because everything that was recorded on the tablet in itself. And the reason why I went ahead and got this stuff is because on the Wacom tablet pad that I typically use to do all my digital paintings, it gets really hard for me to nail down these ellipses. It gets pretty erratic. I end up using Control-Z a lot, so that's why we are going this route. This allows me to essentially do what I do on paper and do it on the computer in itself. So what I've done here, as I keep talking and continue to talk and not focus on what I'm doing here, but what I'm doing here is that I'm just laying down my perspective lines. In fact, this is just a parallel 3/4 view, but I am establishing my proportions for the car. So what we have here is about roughly 2.5 wheelbase is what we've got here. Now, believe it or not, it's really tough for me to get or consistently get some drawing practice in just because of my work schedule and family life and all this other great stuff, of course. Boring details that I'm sure you guys don't want to listen to or even care about. But anyway, what this does is help me to put out some stuff there and put out some cool sketches. Hopefully some cool sketches that you guys can look at. That said, I'm a little bit out of practice and I am now trying to get back into it a little bit. So some of my first ones are going to be a little rough, which is why I always emphasize for people who are practicing and want to get good at something is to continue to practice and practice daily. So hopefully I will be able to practice what I preach and follow suit. So what we're doing here is I'm just what you've been noticing, and hopefully what you've been taking a note is as I start to draw, I'm always drawing through my lines. I'm extending my line work. Unfortunately, you can't see what it is that I'm doing as you watch me draw actually on the screen. But what I am doing is I'm going through very smooth and consistent strokes. I don't labor over things. I do things very quickly, and that's what I'm trying to do right here too. Alright, that's what I'm trying to show here. The name of the game is speed. You want to be able to quickly put down your line work, and as you get more and more proficient on this, that maturity in your line work and your line weight is going to show in time. It takes some time. It's not something that's going to happen quick. The other things that I would probably encourage you to do when you're doing 3/4 view sketches is to make sure that you're looking at some reference material at the beginning so you can kind of build up your form language and your form vocabulary. It's a lot tougher to do it at the beginning when you don't know what details to look for, because your mind or your brain really hasn't grasped all the different kinds of details that you would associate in a car. And as you start building that experience and start drawing more and more and more, yeah, you're going to find that certain details are going to be set into your memory bank. And then you'll be able to recall that later. I'm going to put a quick side view mirror here. I'll put it on the other side. This is by far probably one of the easier sketches that you can do, is the 3/4 view, which is really kind of a parallel view. There's not much perspective going on here. Everything, if you look at the minor, where the minor ellipse axis would be for the ellipses, is really along the horizontal plane. That's why it's so easy, because they're not tilted. You don't have to have them at a particular angle. And this is the most common view that we use for 3/4 views. Not because it's necessarily easy, but we do it because it does a really nice job of communicating the forms and allows you to sketch it out very quickly. Once again, I'm extending the lines. And this is what I typically do on a first pass. If I'm doing this on paper, what I would do is I would take my vellum sheet, I would now take it over this, and I'd start to maybe even think of some more details. How do I want to treat some of the surfaces around some of these shapes? What kind of detailing do I want to do? Right now, all this is just a very quick, rough sketch. Here I'm just adding some more emphasis and starting to define the shape a little bit, darken up the lines, draw some more attention to it, into certain areas. The other thing I want to point out, the software I'm using is I typically use Photoshop, but this time I finally invested and got Painter. And I've got to tell you, this software is just awesome. I tell you, I thought I would never move away from Photoshop because I was so used to using it for my digital paintings. And to be honest, I used Painter 5 way back in 1999, I believe. That was my first painter. It was a Batman movie poster that I had done. I think it was like a Michael Keaton poster, and at that time I loved Painter, and I'd never used Photoshop for sketching. And then it wasn't until late 2000s, or not late 2000s, mid 2000s, I started switching to Photoshop. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this. This is what the final sketch looked like, and hope to see you here again next time. DrivenMavens.com. Have a good one.